Hello! So the other night I was down here and I was playing some guitar, and I just recorded some random, chunky, E minor, 80s metal riffs, and put it on Instagram, put it on Facebook, and got a surprising amount of people wanting to know what the rig is, what are the tones. So I figured it's high time that we take a look at what those tones are. But first, here's the video from the other night. So that's it. Pretty straightforward stuff. Nice crunch, chunk, magic going on. It's nothing too crazy happening here, but I do think the process on how I got that sound is a little deeper than just it's a 5150 or it's a Marshall sound. So let's kind of dive into the hardware of what I'm using. Let's go check that out. Alright, so this is pretty much what I use to get a good 95% of my guitar sound. It is a Headrush Pedalboard from Headrush. I've been using this for about 2 years now. I saw a video of Sarah Longfield. If you don't know who she is, you should check her out. She's a phenomenal guitar player. She was demoing this. I had never heard of this company. It was kind of a what the heck moment, because at the time it's Helix, Axe Effects, Kemper. That's it. It got a lot of flack, I noticed, in the guitar community, which is easy because it's the guitar community. What do you expect? But after much deliberation, I was able to get one pretty cheap at the time, and got it. Wasn't too into it, I'd say, the first couple weeks, because I was still getting used to using a modeler like this. Before that, I spent years using amps. You know, I've recorded with like Guitar Rig and different amp sims, but this was my first time with a full-on floor modeler since like the Line 6 Spider 3 days. So things have come a long way, and I love amps. I love the feeling of stage volume. However, I will say this has made gig life so much easier, because I show up, I take a single XLR out, and then boom. Yay! As long as there's a good front of house system, I sound pretty damn good. And in terms of recording stuff, I mean, people will always tell you that you can tell the difference between, you know, a real amp and modeling. And yeah, there are some differences. But the sound is pretty damn good these days, especially with where cabinet modeling and impulse responses are. And that's really what I think a lot of the tone comes from, is the cabinet modeling and microphones. That to me gives me the most difference in feel. And it's also just a blending of different settings too. So the main one I've been going to for a while now, as I have it here, is Modern Crunch, and it's nice and fancy. I've taken out some letters so it all fits. And it's a tube screamer going into what's supposed to be an old PV 5150, and then I'd never go with a 412. This is, let me double tap here, see if I can pull it up. It is a 212. It's supposed to be like a Vox cabinet with a ribbon mic, and I really love the sound of a 212 with a high gain amp, or especially like a British voiced. This is not British voiced, but I am doubling up the guitar tracks on here. But that's a big thing for me, is a 212 with a ribbon mic is just, to my ears, it sounds really good. And I like the tone that I get out of it. I've noticed a lot of people don't really like a 212 or a smaller cabinet size when they're doing these types of rigs, but you know, or maybe I'm misled there, but for me that is the sound. So Modern Crunch, that's that guy, and then I also used down here Rhythm Crunch, and Rhythm Crunch is it's supposed to be a Bogner, yeah, the red channel, and once again I'm using a 212, but this one is supposed to be a matching Bogner cabinet. This one has a condenser mic on it. Also, another favorite I like is the 67 with the Bogner cab, and the other one would be the Vox 212 with the 121. Same thing, tube screamer type pedal, but on this one, just to give it a little bit more bite, I use the graphic. And yeah, it's just those guys on the left and on the right. And then I have some other patches here too. I have a lead setting, and this is more for live use, where I have a tape echo and kind of a more ambient reverb in between the amp and the cabinet. And if we bank down here, solo is the same thing, except it's the Bogner setting. It's funny, I said, you know, it's not just a PV or a 5150 and a Marshall sound. It's still a British sound. It just happens to be the Bogner take on it. I think it sounds British, but that's just me. But yeah, this isn't really a intricate rundown of everything the Headrush can do. Just kind of my patches, which I will also be putting in the description. I will have a Google Drive link for anyone who wants to use some of these patches I've made. This is the stuff I use in birthday and for my solo stuff, and I've got some other stuff, some clean patches, some ones with special effects for in between sections on some of our tracks. But I'll talk more about that later on in the video and post a link. All right, and so here we have the track itself. Just the name of this is Dio Sabbath. Now, for anyone who listens to Dio era Sabbath, please don't call me out on the fact that these riffs are not quite there, but I do think the B section gets to that magical place with the arpeggios that just, that era of Iommi. He's coked out and feeling a lot of feelings, and I'm not advocating for cocaine use one bit. I'm just saying this is that era of Black Sabbath to me right there. That's why it's named that, so fun little factoid. Anyways, this song has an A section and a B section. A section is more Neanderthal, in a denim jacket, going down that alleyway your mom always warned you about. B section is Tony Iommi, Dio era Sabbath. And it's a total of 5 guitar tracks. We have the lead track, and then we have our rhythm bus, which is a left and right. Sorry, just making sure the mic was on. This is my second take of this because I was mixing it up by soloing tracks and not making sure this was still active. So here we are. Rhythm tracks. On the left side, we have the 5150 patch from the Headrush. On the right, the Bogner patch from the Headrush. We have one hard panned on both, and then a patch that's about midway. Now, when I do multi-tracking of guitars, as much as I love getting a nice clean DI take that can be reamped, and I'll do this if I'm playing for other people, for myself and the kind of stuff that I like to make and the sound that I appreciate from records that I grew up with, I love 2 to 4 guitar tracks that are all played in time together but played just a little bit differently, even if that means there's some tuning issues to a point. We don't want it to sound bad, but just to give it some human feel. I know it's cliche to say, to make it human, but to me it just sounds great, and it's more of a wall of guitars, and there's times where it needs to be tighter, and for certain types of music I won't do this approach, but for stuff like this, I think just kind of freewheeling 4 guitar tracks with the same kind of concept but played on different parts of the fretboard and with a little bit of gusto separate from one another, it just makes it, I don't know, it's something you can get more in touch with. Anyways, that's enough of that ramble there. Let's go ahead and start listening to some of these tracks, starting with the rhythm stuff. Okay, so here is the rhythm channel all together with the reverb on. Okay, so that's the basic rhythm track from the video. I like adding a little bit of reverb on the bus just to, you know, give it some more of that nice 80s metal room that I dig so much. And it's cheesy, but it makes you feel like a powerful Lord of the Imps. And that's how I like to feel. So let's do a little track by track now. Okay, so this is the first 5150 on the left. And let's turn the reverb off so you hear what it sounds like direct from the Headrush. And we got our second one here. Moving over to the Bogner. And then to the other Bogner. And now the B section. Let's bring that reverb back in. Okay, so that is the rhythm group. And then we have the lead here. So the lead is just the this first Bogner, this first 5150 left, which is the Modern Crunch preset from the Headrush. And even though I really like the Headrush's effects when I'm playing live, if it's a solo show, it's just me and the computer, I will. I don't know why I did that, but I'm going to keep that part in because that was pretty funny. But instead of recording a whole new diatribe about lead guitar, as I was stating, it's the 5150 patch from the Headrush, and then I use Acon Digital Multiply, which is a 1,000,000% free plugin, and I'm going to have a link down there, which is where the description is. And big shout out to Soft Shred Pioneer Myron for recommending that one. It's a great plugin. I'm not really big on chorus in leads, but I was once I started using that. And quick side note, my dad hates chorus on high gain lead guitar. Back in the 90s and early aughts, my dad was in a lot of metal bands and rock bands and shit, and he would always talk shit if a guitar player had chorus on leads. And now here I am, I'm 32 and I'm doing it, and my dad still loves me. So just want to let you know there's hope out there. But it's a great plugin. I highly recommend it. That's it. If you want to see more stuff like this, I've never made a video like this. This is the first time. But you keep hassling me online about the stuff that I make or attempt to make, and I'll talk about it because I like doing that. So what all the other people say, subscribe to my channel and you'll get more stuff like this. Hit that bell icon so that you're notified when I'm on the internet dropping this knowledge. So thanks for watching episode 1 of Tone Boner. That's what we're gonna call it. It's gonna be, we're gonna call it Tone Boner. One more thing from Tone Boner before this video ends. It's gonna be May 1st. May 1st, everything on Bandcamp is going directly to us, the artistes. So also in the description, you're going to find links to my Bandcamp as well as my band's Bandcamp. So Bandcamp, go there, support everybody, give us your money. And I'm also going to be putting, in addition to the Acon Digital Multiply link in the bottom, I'm going to have a drive link up that's going to have my special birthday, year 2020, Ian Cowell presets. So if you're a Headrush, Gigboard, or Pedalboard user, you can use my stuff, man. It's gonna be sweet. All right, talk to you soon.